Well, the CDC has spoken. If you're planning on traveling for Thanksgiving, you should reconsider. This comes as Maryland saw its highest single-day surge in cases to date. WMAR2 News' Eddie KADHIM virtually sat down with a member of Governor Hogan's coronavirus task force to talk about some of these new regulations and what you need to do as Thanksgiving approaches.
Look, we'd all love to get out the door or open it up to our friends and family this holiday season. I'd love to see my mom or my brother or my niece or my other brother who I haven't seen since the pandemic started. But right now, the CDC is saying the smart thing to do is to stay where you are.
The virus is not changing. Our behavior is changing. So if the more we can put the right behavioral modifications in place, washing our hands, wearing a mask, staying physically distant, only staying with your immediate household family members, the better we'll be.
Dr. David MARCOZZI is the COVID-19 incident commander for the University of Maryland Medical System and a member of Governor Hogan's coronavirus task force.
Not only are folks potentially traveling from high-risk areas to low-risk areas or vice versa, but also the act of traveling is a risk. So it's both of those factors, which is why I think the CDC came out with the guidance that although impactful to all of us because it's Thanksgiving and we want to see our family, there's just a genuine recognition that that would have a risk for transmitting this virus more easily.
There's a lot of concern over college students heading home for the holidays and coming back to campus after.
You don't realize being younger, you may be carrying it and have no symptoms. So that's one of the risks.
A study done by AAA found that nearly 90% of Marylanders don't plan on traveling for Thanksgiving this year. 74% of the people who say they are traveling plan on driving.
It's incumbent upon anyone who is planning to travel to make sure that they're aware not only of what the travel restrictions are, quarantine requirements regarding the states they may be traveling to, but what those requirements are as it relates to their home state, the state of their residence when they return from their holiday travel.
Even getting tested a few days before a trip doesn't necessarily ensure you're keeping your loved ones safe once you arrive.
If I exposed you today, you may not be positive for up to 7 to 10 days later. So if you get tested on day 5 and think that you have a negative test and you'll be fine, well, 2 days later, you could be spreading this virus to other people.
It's not all bad news, with 2 vaccines being fast-tracked to get to first-line workers and eventually the general public.
When the vaccine is distributed through probably the end of 20 and the beginning of 21, and that we all need to know that although it was expedited, will be safe and effective.
You know me, I'm always out talking to people. Usually I'd be at the airport or at a rest stop trying to get reaction to people, figure out what their plans are for Thanksgiving. But I'm heeding our own advice tonight by staying home. But we still want to know what you're doing, so head to one of our social media pages to let us know. Reporting from home, Eddie KADHIM, WMAR2 News.
All right, thanks a lot, Eddie. So what we did was we posted our Facebook question a couple of hours ago, and many of you have already weighed in. Some people say they're keeping their gatherings at their homes small. And others say despite the travel advisory, they're still traveling to visit loved ones who they haven't seen in a while, but they plan to follow all of the safety guidelines.